Yo, what's up guys, this is Astranox and I'm back with another Epic 7 video. In this one I want to talk about Violet. Is he worth pulling? That is the question. I have so much information in front of me. I've got multipliers, I've got like calculations with his like artifacts like Moonlight Dreamblade versus Violet Talisman, and then like I was checking where he can shines in which area of the game, which sets you could use on him and all that stuff. But I'll go through a list of things to make you figure out if you should pull for him or not. I mean, for some of you it could be as simple as he's not a waifu, so I'm not pulling. I mean, so yeah, right there you've got your answer. But I'll go more in complex details here. I don't want to make this video too long. I have too much information in front of me, and I'm just gonna go through this real quick. I got his multipliers and all that stuff, but I'll get that into a guide like later on, because it's just too much. But here's my thought and review on Violet real quick. If he applies decrease attack down debuff, it cuts the attack of the enemy by 2. It halves their attack. You've got 40% damage increase from skilling up skill 1 and 40% damage increase on this thing. So when Violet goes normally on first turn, he pops this thing, which heals him for 15% of his max HP, and then if the skill's on cooldown, he gains 30% evasion chance, and every time he evades, he gains 1 focus and counterattacks. So when he counterattacks, he's gonna use skill 1. Skill 1 has a multiplier of 168%. And if you use this thing and then you use this thing, this consumes all focus and deal damage proportional to the amount of focus you consumed. If you consume 5 focus, it resets the cooldown of this skill. So like if you get the game running on auto, he's gonna use like skill 2, you gain 2 focus, and then you deal damage with this thing, and then he's gonna start attacking with 1 or a counter attack depending if he evades. Now his multiplier on skill 3 is 252% without skill ups, and if you pop this thing and then you pop this, it's 15% damage increase for each focus. So with 2 focus, it's gonna deal 328%. But yeah, you can do the math for the rest. I don't want to talk about all these numbers. So yeah, his stats are exactly the same as Cez. So squishy. Like you're gonna have to balance his stats, his health, his defense, and yeah, I mean, let's talk about where he shines really. In hunts, because the damage is kind of controlled. It's not like PvP, it's not like arena or guild wars. You can take huge burst damage, but in PvE, in hunts, in raids, in the Spirit Altar, in the Abyss, as a farmer in adventures, like damage is controlled, so it's not too bad. He's not gonna get killed from 100% to 0 in 1 second, you know, in most cases. So you could put lifesteal on him. It's gonna heal him for 20% of the damage he deals. You can put Moonlight Dreamblade on him. That's an easy to get 4-star artifact at plus 15. If you only have 1 copy, that's 15% evasion straight up right away. And then you add this thing, so you're at 45% evasion right there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And every time he evades, he gets the attack buff, which increases attack by 50% for 1 turn. So that's pretty good, right? But his stats are very squishy. So if you're unlucky and he never evades, well, he's gonna like take a massive beating. So you're gonna have to balance his stat. You're gonna have to have enough speed so he keeps on going, and kind of be like lucky with the evasion, so you can leech back with the lifesteal set, or if you have a group that supports him. But what happens is that if the evasion triggers, right, the enemy will miss, and what it happens is that they deal 75% damage instead of 100% or whatever, like if they're critting or crushing, or so they're it's 25% damage less. And so yeah, it deals 75% damage, and it cannot land any debuff or crit. They cannot crit you if they evade. So miss is not like you take 0 damage, it's 75% damage, by the way. So you're gonna have to if you can land this thing, right, the attack down debuff, and if they're like evading, so you're taking only 75% damage, there's no crit, there's no debuff applied on you, that's pretty good. Like with the lifesteal set, you can keep going for quite a long time. Now if you're using the Violet Talisman artifact, you only pull one, let's say, you're gonna get 2.25% attack and 2.25% evasion per turn, but it resets every time a new battle begins. So let's say you're doing adventures, you're doing wave 1, you're building up this attack and evasion, but as soon as you hit wave 2, it resets again. So this is better, the Violet Talisman, on long fights, on long, let's say, boss fights. This is where it's gonna shine. And yeah, Moonlight Dreamblade is better if you're in arena in PvP. You're gonna take like massive amount of burst damage all at once. It's gonna shine there, or quick battles. Also, there's a pro for the Violet Talisman is that it will stack with the attack buff, because the attack and evasion buff is gets applied passively on him for each battle. So at least it's gonna stack with attack buff. But Moonlight Dreamblade gives you the attack buff, the same attack buff that we have in the game, that gives you 50% attack boost. All right, so there's that, and let's talk about where he shines here real quick. So in the hunts, I would say that you can definitely use him in Golem. Golem keeps counter-attacking, and he's gonna get hit. He's gonna evade. If he evades, he's not gonna get the defense down debuff, and it's only gonna deal 75% damage. And he's gonna like trigger this decrease attack. Golem is very slow to actually go from turn to turn, so you're gonna have pretty much permanently a decrease attack debuff on the Golem. So it's gonna help his damage right away, which is really good. And so use him in Golem, yes. In Banshee, you can use him there, but Banshee is about doing a lot of damage and killing these ads, so he's not like top tier material, but he can be used. You can use him in the front line. It's just you need like some bunch of damage dealers and a hero that can sustain your team. Like you need 2 damage dealers for Banshee in most cases, two or 3. So yeah, he's gonna deal damage, but he's a single target attacker, and the ads might not target him. So I would say he's okay for Banshee. Now let's talk about the PvE stuff first, and then I'll cover the PvP. In raids, you can definitely use him, but there's a lot of randomness with the evasion, right? If he evades, they're missing, they're dealing 75% damage. You're still taking damage, so you put him in the front line. His stats are the same as Sez. So if he doesn't evade, you get unlucky, bad luck streak, he's just gonna get crushed. So I don't like the randomness of it. And in Spirit Altar, like the damage is controlled. You can use him pretty much in all Spirit Altars beside the fire one. It's gonna be just fine. You put him in the front line. In the Abyss, well, yeah, he got attack down debuff, but I would not put him in the Abyss unless you want to go and try to put him in the front line and try to get a run where he keeps on evading forever. If you get ultra lucky, let's say, and you could rely on that, but that's very RNG based, and it's gonna take you forever to actually achieve this run. So I just not think about Abyss really, because as soon as you're done with Abyss, it's over. Like you don't have to deal with Abyss anymore. As a farmer, he's gonna be really good, but he's gonna be very slow compared to someone that can cleave, that can AoE the whole wave super quick. So which means that yes, he takes reduced damage, he applies attack down debuff, if you have lifesteal on him and then you're using, let's say, Moonlight Dreamblade, he's gonna buff his attack. He can actually sustain himself quite well, which means he can solo a higher difficulty stage than an AoE that like Vildred that just AoEs everything. But if you have Vildred on lifesteal, I mean, he's gonna lifesteal quite a bit back. So it's debatable, but still, you could make Violet as a great farmer if his stats are balanced. So yeah. Now let's talk about PvP. In Arena 4v4, I would say that if I'm fighting Violet, right? Let's say I'm fighting Violet with Moonlight Dreamblade. What's gonna happen is that I will probably just it depends. If let's say I have a team that can cleave, that can AoE damage your whole team down, like Vildred, really, like, you deal the damage is done, most of your team members are dead, maybe Violet's still alive, but then he eventually just dies. But let's say you get lucky and you proc a bunch of evasion and you're countering and you're life stealing, you could have him survive if his stats are balanced, and he could solo the rest of the enemy team, but there's a lot of randomness to it. So I would say that yes, you could put him on defense. People might see him and be like, yeah, I don't want to deal with Violet. If he gets lucky, I could just lose. So he's like a bit like a Ken. Like Ken, he's just gonna counter straight up if you crit him. Violet is not as powerful, and Violet doesn't have the Sigurd Sight overpowered artifact that just heals for insane amounts. So yeah. Alright, so I would say that Arena 4v4, you could use him in defense, but for offense, really, he's not gonna shine in like many battles. He's gonna shine if you can get him. I mean, if you're facing a team of ice heroes, he's Earth, so he's got that going for him. But if you know the enemy will attack him instead of your team, like fire heroes, he's gonna get attacked, but then, like, yeah, he might evade, he might not evade, he might take more damage because he's at the elemental disadvantage. I don't know about that. I don't like him for offense. You want to deal quick burst damage, and he's not that type of hero. So I would say not good for offense. Now for Guild Wars, it gets more interesting because it's 3v versus 3, so the battles are gonna be longer, and the enemy won't be able to just have, let's say, combat readiness booster, an attack booster, and 2 AoE damage dealers. They're gonna be running like a single target damage dealer with high burst, and let's say a buffer, and it could be a supporter like Diane, or it could be a healer. But yeah, the battles are gonna be longer, and he could shine there. He could be super annoying, like if the battle drags on. And like if you're playing on manual, well, in most cases, if you're doing hard battles, you're gonna do it on manual. You could deal insane damage with his skill 3, because if it builds up to 5 focus, the multiplier is 442%, and with skill up it becomes 619%. And you could combo it, right? You could at 5 focus it resets the cooldown, so you could use this thing back to back. And if it's fully skill enhanced, it's 619% plus 353% in 2 turns. That's so much damage. And if there's no skill enhanced, it's 442, and the next time you use it with no focus, it's 252%, which is still quite a bit. Like, you could burst down many heroes with that. So if you use him in Guild War, you could put him on your defense, you could use him in your offense. That's where he's gonna shine. Guild Wars. That's where I think is he's a top tier Guild War hero in my mind. So let's go through this list here for if you should pull him. That's just like the information I dropped on you. Now, talked about his strength, and weakness is really like his stats. Same stat as says. That's a big weakness. The randomness of evasion. And evasion still dealing 75% of the damage. Cannot crit or cannot land debuff, but you're still gonna take damage when evasion procs. If you're trying to save for a limited hero, be it Luna or someone else, well, you need 600 Covenant bookmarks. So if you have over that and you like the hero, just go for him. But do you have a bunch of Earth heroes, or maybe you don't have one, or just have a few? You could go for him just for that. Do you have a bunch of Thieves, or maybe you don't have any Thieves, or just have one and you don't have an Earth one? You could go for him. So these are different cases where you could pull or not pull. If you're free to play, well, it depends. Are you trying to save for a limited hero, or are you not trying to save for a limited hero? So I would say that it depends. Have you started when Global was launched almost 80 days ago? Then if you have over 600 bookmarks and you like this hero, if he could fit in your team, if you want a frontliner that's based on evasion and can deal some pretty significant damage, if you like the randomness of it all, you could go for him. And also, you have to keep in mind, he's not a limited hero, so there's no pity system. So what happens is that you could get really unlucky, and how bad are you gonna feel at that point? Because on all these non-limited banners, I've had guildmates that have been pulling over, they use over 1,000 Covenant bookmarks, and at that point, I think, like, you still have like something like 35% chance that you will not have pulled the hero, because every time you pull, it's what is it? It's 0.8% chance that you might get the hero. It doesn't add up. It's like every roll is 0.8%. So it's quite easy for you to be extremely unlucky and just not get him after so many pulls. You have to keep that in mind. And he's so niche. He's so niche. Like, I don't see him being great in so many different places, to be honest. Like, even in Arena 4v4, I would just go in the battle. I could, like, just ignore him, because you can't have Violet with super high offensive stats and high survival and high speed. So he's not gonna go first, unless they have a combat readiness booster and they just beat you on speed, and they let's say they're running double combat readiness booster. One is just combat readiness, the other one is like attack and combat. Like, it could be Shadow Rose, it could with a Rose, something like that, or you could be a Judith, it could be Roseid, Roseid and Rose. It could be a Tywin with a Roseid. Anyways, like, it all depends on who goes first. But then you could get lucky, your Moonlight Dreamblade procs, and you just evade the damage, you don't get crit, you take just a bit of damage, and then you could just solo their whole team. So there's that random aspect to it. But he's not top tier damage dealer, so I don't see him. He takes too long to build up, which is good in PvE, but for PvP, he needs too much setup. That's the problem. So I would say that, yeah, I mean, you could pull or you could not pull, but for some of you it's as simple as that. He's not a waifu, so I'm not pulling for him. He's a guy, I'm not pulling for him. That's as simple as that. You don't like his neck, you don't pull for him, you know. Too many thieves were released in the game. You're tired, you have too many already, not pulling for him. You have too many Earth heroes, not gonna pull for him. I don't like the randomness of this hero, I'm not pulling for him. You know, you could pull for him, you could pull Violet Talisman artifact, but maybe not. You don't pull Violet. So what you gonna do with that Violet Talisman? Yes, you could put it on a thief. You're gonna build up that attack and evasion over the course of a long battle in a boss fight. You're gonna start doing more and more damage with that attack passive boost, and you get some evasion, which could be good for survival, but really it's gonna shine on him. So you'd be pretty sad if you pull the artifact and you don't pull him. So get ready for that if you're willing to pull. And he's very niche, so I would say that not really a great hero to pull. Like, it's not like a support hero like Diane, right? You can use her everywhere in the game. It's just, she's crazy. Crazy overpowered. But Violet, are you gonna use him everywhere? That's the thing. So keep that in mind. And okay, let's go through some stuff real quick. What did I have here written? Okay, so his 6th Awakening is 6% HP. You need 10 Black Curse Powder. 5th Awakening is 6% attack. You need 15 Erikion Carapace. You Soulburn skill 1, 100% chance to apply attack down debuff for 2 turns. It's huge. This debuff is very good though. It's like the best debuff to increase your team's survival. That's the one. So just for that, you have to think about it. Like, if your team doesn't have an attack debuff, that could be one of the reasons that you want to pull for him. You don't have to build him with super high attack. You could just balance his stats, have enough health, have enough defense, and have a decent amount of attack, and put him on a lifesteal set. Put him, well, you don't need to put him on a counter set, but you could, I guess. I don't want to turn this into a guide, but I think you're gonna have to decide by yourself if you're willing to pull. I know a lot of people will not be pulling because, like I said, he's too niche. He cannot be used in many areas of the game, and yeah, if you do need the utility of the attack down debuff, he's gonna be great for that. He's gonna fill that role. But to really have him shine, you're gonna have to put him in the front line, and I'm definitely not comfortable with the amount of survival stats that he has. And like, he looks really like cool. Like you could have him with very high offensive statistics, but then he's just gonna get crushed if he doesn't trigger the evasion. But if he does trigger the evasion, you could be in for a treat, like with those counterattacks non-stop, and he could keep himself alive for so long, which is gonna be like really good in a farmer situation in adventures, in the side stories and all that. You could solo farm with him for sure in very hard stages. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to make up your mind if you want to pull or not, but I'll make an in-depth guide later on, and yeah, maybe I just decide to pull randomly for him just because I don't care about saving for a limited hero, because when I do pull a limited hero, I can't even use that hero all the time because other players will not be watching the videos because they're like, I don't have that limited hero, I can't pull it anymore, so like I'm bored of watching your videos with your limited heroes. I want something that I can actually pull one day. So I mean, limited heroes might come back every year or something like that, we just don't know. But yeah, let me know your thought in the comment section, guys, but that's gonna be it for this one. I think I covered pretty much all that I've been thinking about for him, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out for now.